So, look, I know as the Dow hits new lifetime highs today, you're tempted to jump in and say, well, let me buy a lot. Remember, we have seen a pretty significant run-up. So it's time now, probably, as some of these names get very expensive, to specifically pick intelligently which stocks you might want to add your money to. I want to bring in GoodHaven Capital Management co-founder. He is Larry Pitkowsky. You're up 22% year to date.
We are, Liz.
And tell me right now, because as we see a market run, very, very exciting and perhaps tempting to say, I'll just buy it all. Smart thing or no?
No, I don't think anybody should ever just buy it all at any given moment. We are bargain hunters, value buyers. And, the best company, Liz, can be a terrible investment if you pay too high of a price. And we've seen that time and time again in history.
Are these prices too high right now? We have the NASDAQ. We can cycle through some of these. Very close to an all-time high. The S&P at an all-time high. Russell at I sound like a broken record. Russell at an all-time high. Transports too.
I think going forward, we would encourage people to try and look for putting together a portfolio that doesn't quite mimic the index, but is more undervalued than the indexes. The indexes are trading at full valuations any way you look at it. Now, that's not a prediction, but if you remember what happened after '99 and 2000, the indexes went nowhere for a decade, and managers and investors that had more carefully selected a portfolio of undervalued securities had a very good run.
I do want to remind our viewers why you're listening to Larry. His fund, with just, 20 stocks in it?
20 to 25 names.
Is up 22% so far this year. So right about now, you're asking yourself, why isn't my fund manager doing as well? Let's just reveal some of the ways that you're picking these stocks and what's in them. Among them, Barrick Gold, WPX Energy, Leucadia National, and Verizon. And here's your year-to-date performance. Very impressive.
Thank you, Liz. And we're happy with how we accomplished solid results. We think we've accomplished it by taking less risk, by having liquidity in the portfolio to look for more bargains, and by not excessively, taking undue risk, and exposing ourselves or our fellow shareholders.
So a Barrick Gold, that to me does look like something that has been perhaps oversold. Because the miners have been that one area that just haven't done well, along with, I don't know, bonds. Do you see anything in bonds?
Barrick Gold has been a very successful investment for us. The most interesting thing is that neither we nor the executive chairman, John Thornton, are gold bugs. To us, this was an undervalued business with a new management team, a bargain stock price, with a wonderful game plan to restore the company to its glory, and that's what attracted us. We don't mind the exposure to the metal thrown in top, but it's about a business analysis on our part and a cheap stock price and a great new management team.
I just want to quickly dip into Tim Anderson. He is on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Trader Tim, give me a sense of what you're seeing right now in these final minutes of trade. Anybody coming in and saying, you know what, I'm selling at this point, I want to take some profits. Do you see any indication of that?
Well, I'm sure there's a little bit of that, but the overriding theme today is that the market is holding almost all of its highs, and there was a very significant breakout or move, doubling of the gains on the day at around 120, 125. I think that was coincident with the transports making a significant move through what was the old all-time high in the transports at around the 91 and 91.20 level.
Yeah.
And apparently when we got through that level significantly around 120, 125, there were some extremely large buy orders in the S&P futures, which just steamrolled the market up to the levels we're at about right now.
Yeah, we're up 29 points for the S&P. That was the high of the session, rather, up 29, up 271 for the Dow. Larry, when you're looking at when to sell, it's just as important as when to buy, is it not?
Harder.
How do you know?
Harder. Well, we sell normally for a couple of reasons. One, if the price gets so high that we feel we're not going to earn a very attractive future return. Two, if we feel management does something that is, destructive from a value standpoint. Three, if we find something better and cheaper to buy and we don't have enough cash.
Does anything like a presidential election or results ever weigh into what you're doing?
We don't change the portfolio or what we're doing based on any short-term political change in the wind.
Guys, can we put up the transports right now, because they are up 226 points. for the transports. And I think that that is very significant. Are you interested at all? Do you own any of these names? You know, Warren Buffett, a fellow value investor, just bought some airline names. The airlines have done extraordinarily well. They're running like a business.
They have. You know, something that we own that I think is starting to get a little bit more recognition is a holding company called Leucadia, which its biggest division is Jefferies, the investment bank. We have long found it to be a wonderfully run company with Rich Handler at the helm, and if we do enter an environment where the trading environment is healthier on Wall Street and short-term interest rates do keep inching up, it will provide some better opportunities for Leucadia, and the shares are trading at just a little bit above tangible book value, and you know, Rich has done a great job over the years.
Okay, as I say, we are very close, but not at session highs, up 276 for the Dow Jones Industrials. As I look at the VIX, or the Fear Index, it is slightly higher, up 2.5%. What does that say to you? Anything? I mean, it had been pretty calm earlier.
Well, you've got some volatility, so it's not so surprising. But, you know, we think when you're in an environment like this, people should be extra diligent to try and buy value, either directly for themselves or through whoever they're having manage their money.
He says, don't buy too high, and here come the balloons going sky high, a record day. Folks, we can call it the Dow, the S&P, the Russell 2000. Those are all-time records never before seen. As the closing bell rings, the Dow transports are coming along with the record party. They, too, are clocking a page in the history books.